with America, but I can't share it with you. Okay? The most advanced offensive weapons on the planet, things that none of the superpowers have, developed by Israel, shared with.
We're very powerful. This country is very powerful. It's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody, not even close.
And they also asked, could you elaborate on what's the Gorgon stare that Ashton Forbes has spoken about both on social media and here on the show? I haven't had Ashton on here in a while, but the last time I did have him on, he spoke about that program, Gorgon stare, and basically wanting to know, can you tell us a little bit more about what that is and why it would be so secret?
Yeah, I can't.
This is the part. This is the part, by the way, where I said I'm not sure you're going to be able to answer it if it's really in your wheelhouse. I figured you would know about it, but I figured you probably can't talk too much about Gorgon stare. But I mean, can you say anything?
Yeah. No. Nope.
Fair enough. But it is real. It does exist.
I would say that Ashton's very good at his research.
Okay. All right. I guess we will leave it at that for the Gorgon stare question.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
Scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Hello, welcome to the live stream, everybody. Happy Colonizer Day. Shout out to all my colonizers in the chat today, guys. Today is your day that we colonized this country, which is now our country, and took it from the indigenous people. And today we are celebrating. At least I'm pretty sure that's what the holiday is all about. I don't even really know anymore, but we're going with it. Guys, thank you so much for being here. You have no idea how high this community has been elevated to. So I just want you to pat yourself on the back right now. Best community in the world, MH370X. Never get into a ground war with MH370X. You will lose every single time. Never get into a meme war with us, chat. Shout out there to a very special person who you know who you are out there. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing, everything that you've been assisting with. I appreciate you. Thank you. Now, guys, tonight, we are going to be talking about the path forward for MH370X. What is our path forward on 0-point energy? Spoiler alert, Aneutronic fusion is the path forward. We're also going to be talking about an update on the narrative war. The narrative war, as you saw in that video intro that I showed by Tupacabra. Shout out to Tupacabra. I've got the main character energy going on. I'm just saying, this is how it is. Right? All the other people were supporting cast. Main character was definitely Ashton getting his 7K, printing that money, baby. So we're going to have a little update on that as well. I've got some collaboration updates, and the war in Gaza is over. Free Palestine. Palestine has been freed. Praise Free Palestine. Praise it. So we're going to be talking about that. And then I've got some other little science stuff that we're going to talk about as well along the way. Let's just get right to it. We don't have a lot of time. I want to jump into this tonight. I don't think we're going to be able to go the whole 2 hours here, so let's get going. First of all, collaborations coming up, guys. Get excited. Oh, by the way, look at this. What? Rare Lulu sighting. Uh-oh. See? I'm going to have to shock her with the dog collar, guys. I got to hit her with the shock collar because she got off the couch. That was my background dog that I shocked to make sure she's in one spot. Hassan is a dog abuser. Just want to throw that out there. Okay. Collaborations tomorrow. Owen Schroyer. Going to be talking to Owen Schroyer tomorrow about Israel-Palestine conflict, especially in light of the new ceasefire and peace deal. Should be a really interesting conversation, guys. Really looking forward to it. We'll probably just start with where we kind of left off on Twitter last week, which was, do you support our allies or not? And then we'll just take it from there and see where it goes. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think it'll be a very adversarial interview, but I do think it'll be an enlightening one in which I am definitely the underdog because I don't have all the background information about, you know, the conflict and the history of everything in the Middle East. To me, it's just a holy war where, you know, primitives are fighting each other for dirt. But there you go. Also, Stephen Greer interview should be coming out. We'll just say at some point this week. Going to have the Stephen Greer interview drop, assuming all goes well. And then lastly, a surprise curveball. I'm going to pitch Laura Loomer on an idea that I had this weekend where I was out of town this weekend. I went on a trip. Not going to talk too much about it, but yeah, it was really interesting, really illuminating. And I came up with this idea, but what if I just talked to Laura Loomer and we just talk crap about people for like an hour straight? Talk crap about all the fake Republicans, talk about politics. So I'm going to pitch her on that. And maybe we'll do, you know, an experimental episode where we just kind of talk crap about like all the player haters out there, you know, they you know, don't hate the player, hate the game. So we got a lot of big stuff coming up. Also, guys, I'm switching sides. I'm switching sides officially. Now I support Palantir. You may say, Ashton, what changed? Do you not think that they're spying on us now and, you know, essentially going to bring in the one world government? No, they probably are. I just want to be on the side of the people that have all the power in the world. So, you know, there's two ways to change this world. One, you can change the world from the outside. And two, you can change the world from the inside. So in light of my new revelations that I've had, you know, if I'm going to piss people off, we might as well just piss everybody off. I want to apologize to Joe Lonsdale. Joe Lonsdale, I was rude to you because I thought you were gatekeeping free energy through Commonwealth Fusion. And that's fine. Now, here's the reality. I get it, bro. I get it. There are too many primitives on this planet. They just simply cannot be given carte blanche, unlimited energy. They would destroy us all. So now I understand your perspective. So go ahead, please unblock me. I'm simping as hard as I can. I apologize for being rude to you. Please unblock me so that I can join the good guys, that are spying on everybody, that are rolling out fusion technology and fusion energy, because I want to be in the club. There we go. Okay. Oh, and also, let's just be real. What I've learned over the last few weeks, you probably have or have not noticed, but the whole racist corner of the internet has been crashing out over me like none other. And let's just be real. Some of these people need to be spied on. They need to have their phones getting tracked. They need to be getting tracked everywhere they go. They're just not very trustworthy people, guys. This just is what it is. Got to keep it real. So Palantir, do your thing. I'm your number one fan. I'm your biggest cheerleader from now on. Palantir, let's go, Palantir. Whoop, whoop. Okay, guys. The war in Gaza is over. Woo! Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Free Palestine, guys. Why? How come I don't see all the anti-Israel people cheering that Palestine is free? They've been protesting for free Palestine. They've been putting on their N95 masks and they're dyed in their hair rainbow colors. And they've been screaming free Palestine. And yet, I looked around, checked out some people's social media profiles. I don't see any free Palestine cheers. So I'm going to do it for them. Free Palestine. You're free now. Yay. Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Let's just keep it 100. Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for this. And I saw people going, oh, but they just gave the Nobel Peace Prize to some lady in Venezuela. okay, let me address this. Number one, she actually thanked Trump. She said that Trump deserved it. She literally said that Trump deserved it. Number one. Number two, I didn't know that there was a cap on Nobel Peace Prizes. I legitimately thought you could just give Nobel Peace Prizes to people whenever you wanted. So can we just give another one to Donald Trump, or is this like a weird gatekeeping thing where it's like one we only get one per year? So go ahead, give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize, because let's be real, even the people that say like, oh no, you don't really deserve it because it's not meaningful enough, like you just brokered a peace arrangement that nobody could pull off, by the way. Even if you say the Nobel Peace Prize isn't worth it, still give it to him. Give it to him just because. I mean, we gave one for Obama. How can we not give one to President Trump at this point? So I don't care if we just gave it to somebody, just make another one. I mean, they're unlimited. They cost nothing to give to somebody. So I want to make sure I'm on the record saying that Donald Trump deserves the credit because he's the one that brokered the deal. He basically told Hamas, like, you either do the deal or we are going to annihilate you. And then they did the deal. And the hostages came back. Now, on the flip side of this, I want to go ahead and say the Israel people are way nicer than I am. This is the way nicer than I am on this whole peace deal situation. They only got back like, 13 hostages, something like that? 13 hostages. And they're giving back, I don't even know, so reportedly, they're giving back like 200 hostages that were kept in much better conditions than the Israeli hostages were kept. And if it was me, you would get back the equivalent number of alive hostages, the same percentage of alive hostages. That's what you would be given back. This is my approach would be this. If you took 48 of my people and I only got 13 back, let's just say that's like around 1/3 or less of the people, you would get back the same percentage of alive people. I would just systematically execute 75% of the hostages, and I would give you back their dead bodies and say, here you go. That's your equivalent exchange. So that's just how I roll. Don't cross me if you ever make me into a politician. Also, you probably don't want to vote for me to be a politician if you would disagree with those opinions, because I'm ruthless. I'm ruthless, chat. Now, the other big part of this, the war ending, because I want to go after some of these people that are just complete phonies that have been using the Israel-Palestine conflict to grift off of people. They've been using it to make money. And none of those people gave one crap about the genocide that they claimed happened. They were using genocide as just a way to virtue signal. The woke right people that were using genocide were using that to virtue signal the same way that the woke left use it to virtue signal. So anybody that tells you, oh, there was a genocide happening and you're a terrible person if you were not against the genocide, those people are all phonies, guys. Those people are all 100% phonies. They didn't even cheer when their supposed genocide stopped that they were claiming to be against. So you got to be careful listening to these people that are just, all they were trying to do is they're just Israel haters, basically. They're Israel haters, and they were just looking for a new narrative that they could use against Israel. And that's what they did. That's what they did, guys. Okay, now related to so yeah, they were basically just using it as a political prop. They were using the genocide stuff as a political prop for their weird anti-Israel agenda. And how this became evident to me was during the Charlie Kirk situation. If you have not been keeping up on the Candace and the Candy Cultees, that's the new band name for Candace and Co. and Candace and Friends. They saw an opportunity to use Charlie Kirk's death to advance their anti-Israel agenda. We're just going to say it exactly how it is. That's what happened. They saw Charlie Kirk as a situation where they could use it. Lulu, come on, chill out. They could use it to advance their anti-Israel agenda. That's what they did. That was their plan. And they initiated the plan less than 24 hours after Charlie Kirk died. The same way that they were using genocide to advance their anti-Israel agenda now that that's gone. So if you have not been paying attention, the most recent update in this saga was that Candace Owens backtracked entirely away from the conspiracy angle. At least she went along with the official narrative. She confirmed that Charlie Kirk's neck did stop the bullet, that a bullet was recovered. And this took a lot of wind out of the sails of those guys, a lot of wind out of the sails. And the most recent thing was that she tried to pivot to this airplane that like left the area or something like that. But she literally didn't know that UTC was a time zone. And if you're wondering, Ashton, what? Yes. Candace Owens believed that there was an airplane that took off from Utah, like right after Charlie Kirk's death. And somehow this meant it must be connected to his death. And she didn't even know that UTC didn't mean Utah. It meant universal time zone, time code. So she didn't realize. And then people pointed this out to her. And the crazy part is she didn't even admit she was wrong. She didn't even admit she was wrong. It turns out it was like 6 hours earlier when you do the time change. So her whole theory blew up. And people were fact checking her going like, you're an idiot, Candace. You're a total moron. And then she goes, okay, this was incorrect, but it's still like obviously connected to Charlie Kirk's death. Like she made a post like that. And so what I want to point out is, because this is probably the end of the saga, we have total victory. MH370X, total victory. Ashton Forbes, complete vindication. Always right about everythingsville. 100% right about Charlie Kirk's situation. They've basically given up. Candace Owens didn't do a video today. Ian Carroll hasn't posted in several days. Instead, they've been crashing out on the internet about me because I literally was leading the charge to destroy this fake narrative that they were pushing. And we were successful. We destroyed the fake narrative. The narrative has been annihilated, guys. And presumably it's because, as I pointed out here, Candace Owens has like clearly, like the question is she crazy or is she just stupid? Right. And now I have concluded that she is actually just extremely stupid. I don't think she's actually crazy. She's actually just stupid as hell. She can't spell. She doesn't understand time zones. Chat. So she most likely saw those text messages. Remember like a week ago when she released those text messages? I think she really believed those text messages were proof of a grand conspiracy and cover-up. She really believed that in her mind. And if you just read the rest of the text message, you can tell that it was just Charlie Kirk blowing off steam. It wasn't some grand Israel plot, right? So actually, I think the whole deal with Candace is that she's just a complete moron. She's just a very stupid person. Is really at the end of the day how it plays out. So for all the people out there that have been yelling and screaming, they've been going, Ashton, he lost all his followers. This means we won. We were able. They literally are bragging about trying to cancel me from social media. And this goes to prove that they are the woke right. They are literally Redditors. They are projecting all of their own behaviors onto everybody else, including myself. They've been trying to cancel me for a week straight. I've even got right here, I've got proof of Ian Carroll. Ian Carroll's even getting in on the game trying to cancel me now, which is just too funny for me. I'm uncancelable, chat. I'm uncancelable. Here's proof of Ian Carroll muting Ashton and following Crashton has been the greatest timeline cleanse, everybody. Oh, are you going to be okay, big baby? Oh, no. Oh, you had to mute Ashton. Were the words, was destroying your fake conspiracy just a little too much for you? Oh, poor baby. Oh, poor baby, Ian. Maybe you can go back to Uber driving if the whole Palestine thing doesn't work out. Here's just another little meme for you just to enjoy this meme with your eyes. Free Palestine. President Trump just did. Then the NPCs get angry because he did the thing that they claimed they wanted, but they never really did want. Okay, and I just go, oh no, guys, I lost my followers. Oh no, my social credit score, chat. My social credit score has been harmed. How will I ever recover from this? Oh my goodness. I lost followers. No. I guess I'll just have to teach science to people that are not idiots. Boy, my loss, I suppose. My loss, everybody. Woe is me, chat. I lost a bunch of trash. I lost a bunch of trash followers that didn't understand basic physics. And in response, I gained deputy director of the FBI, senior editor for CBS, just to name a couple that are out there. So you know what? It's been nothing but a net gain for me. And if the haters knew how far they've elevated me now, if they knew how far they've elevated me, their minds would explode. Their heads would literally explode, chat. Their heads would explode. Okay. The last thing I'll say on this, and then we're moving on, is what have I been wrong about? What have I actually been wrong about? Anyone in the chat want to tell me what I've been wrong about? The haters are so mad. I think we've all forgotten why they're even mad at me. I don't even know why they're even mad at me at this point. They're mad at me just because I destroyed literally a fake narrative that they were trying to push over this Israel thing. And they got mad at me for saying that something wasn't related to Israel. All I said was Charlie Kirk's death was not related to Israel, which it was not. Objectively, it was not. There's no evidence for it. And because I said that, they automatically, reflexively labeled me as an Israel shill. Think about how stupid, how dumb of a person you have to be that's your thought process. Somebody that simply tells me that it's not a grand Israel plot means they must be Mossad. Everything must be a grand Mossad Israel plan. And if you do not agree that everything that happens in the world is a grand Israeli plot, then you are a shill. That's called being in a cult. That's called literally being in a cult. And this is the reason why I destroyed that whole movement. This is why we had total victory over that movement. Is it's just like flat earth, and a lot of them are flat earthers actually, is that flat earth began as a meme. It literally began as a meme, just like the Israel hate began as a meme. And then people started taking their own bullshit too seriously. They started taking their own bullshit too seriously, and now it's become this radicalized right-wing woke nut job crap, right? And that's why I had to hammer it down, because it was getting to be too much. You guys were beginning to be a little bit too schizo, you know? You had to rein it in a little bit. So it's not personal. I'm sorry I had to destroy your whole movement. I'm sorry I had to discredit all of your favorite people who will now never be taken seriously ever again in any avenue. But you know what? You know whose fault it was? Your fault. It was your fault. And at the end of the day, all you had to do was leave me alone. All you had to do was not push your schizo plot, and you couldn't do that. Sorry, guys. Looks like we're having a... whatever. It's fine. I'll take care of it later. Lulu's just struggling right now. Okay. One more thing, and then we're jumping into science. One more thing, and then we're jumping into science. I have identified Nick Fuentes' weakness. Now, and actually, before we do that, I do want to show this. I want to show, I made a list of the top 10 player haters, chat, related to all of that, just so we can have a list. It's a very official list. I just want everybody to see it. I'm very proud of my list. And then I'll tell you what Nick Fuentes' weakness is, everybody. Everyone can learn. Top 10 official player haters. Here they are. Number 1, Ryan Flat Earth Matta, chat. Why? Because he's a stupid idiot. He's a complete moron. Number 2, Ian Carroll. Gay. No homo, no diddy. No diddy. Candace Owens, number 3, crazy, totally crazy. Also, although maybe just dumb, maybe not crazy, maybe dumb. Dave Smith, no balls on Dave Smith. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a psycho and also probably a traitor. She's probably going to become a Democrat. I think Laura Loomer might be right about this. I think MTG is angling for the Democrat angle. Redditors get just as a general category, Redditors get the 6th spot right here. Redditors get the 6th spot for being woke, because woke left equals woke right. And you can just basically just say Redditors in general. Tucker Carlson. Now, Tucker Carlson is a dark horse. I just put evil on here because Tucker Carlson actually, there's something weird about him. I don't know what's wrong with Tucker Carlson, but something bizarre is going on with that guy. So I just gave him evil. Max Blumenthal, fakest journalist I've ever seen in my whole life. Dude's just a complete liar. complete fabricator of stories. So Max Blumenthal gets the fake category. Barack Obama makes a list, chat. A little Barack Obama action because he's a liar, because he covered up MH370, because basically everybody that was in his intelligence community are like just monsters pretty much. And then, of course, Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes had to make the list because, let's be honest, Nick Fuentes is a hater. He's a hater for sure. He's a big hater, but I love you, Nick. I love you, Nick. And also, please, Nick, please believe in the warp drives, Nick. Please believe in the warp drives and the teleportation. Please, sir. Okay. Now, what is Nick Fuentes' weakness, though, chat? What is Nick Fuentes' weakness? Everybody wants to know. Now, I have studied him. I have studied Nick Fuentes, and I have found his weakness. And no, it's not homosexuality. No. Guys, not everything's a conspiracy. I don't think it was Nick Fuentes in the infamous Destiny video, although his response was suspicious, quite suspicious. No, his weakness is he doesn't understand government. Wow. Whoa. Nick Fuentes doesn't actually understand how politics and government work. He's a very intelligent guy. He's a good speaker. He's an amazing debater, but he actually doesn't understand how government works. He said this. He actually said this. He wanted to learn more about how the politics works behind the scene. And I think that when he does learn that, he'll learn that it's not what you know. It's who you know. That's how politics works. It's not what you know. It's who you know. Because he thinks, oh, the Groypers should just infiltrate the government. And this is how we'll get into the government. That's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. The way it works is that you basically get pulled in as somebody that's higher level and you get kind of pulled into the government, right? It's a big club and you're either in it or you're not in it. That's how politics actually works. I think, and the thing I say about this is that when Nick Fuentes does learn, when he does learn how the government works, he will become a very dangerous individual for the establishment. Because right now, I think his naivete about the government is what holds him back. He's great at rallying the troops, but how is he going to act? What does he want to actually change? It's like, oh, I want to just end Israel lobbying in the government. Good luck with that, bro. I mean, how are you going to do that? You're just going to set a ban up? What are his practical solutions? What are his practical solutions to government? Because what you learn is government is not a thing where you can just change it overnight. It's incremental change. It's incremental change. So that's the last thing on this whole politics side stuff. Let's get into some science. Let's talk science. Okay. Number one, somebody mentioned that Dan, what is his name? The guy that wrote the Dan Brown. Dan Brown, the dude that wrote those books. The dude that wrote those books, the ones about the Vatican and all that stuff, the one Tom Hanks was in those movies or whatever. You guys know what they're called. Dan Brown, his most recent book apparently mentions Hal Puthoff in it. Mentions Hal Puthoff. Chapter 85 literally mentions Hal Puthoff and plasma technology, supposedly. So if somebody has his new book, Da Vinci Code. Thank you. Finally, Da Vinci Code. There you go. See, Da Vinci Code. His new book apparently mentions Hal Puthoff in chapter 85. If somebody can get that book and confirm that, that would be amazing. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. So I haven't seen it exactly, but I want to see what it mentions. Hal Puthoff is the GOAT. I love you, Hal. I love you out there. Also, Charles Chase. I love you too, boo. No Diddy, but I love you. Now, Ashton, or chat, we've been right about everything. We've been right about everything. And yes, there's ZPE disclosure in the chat right there. Yeah, 85 chapters seemed like a lot to me too. So Sabine Hassenfelder she's been on one recently. She's been on one. Her last two videos were about faster than light travel and fusion. Hi, Sabine. Hi, Sabine Hassenfelder. We are influencing people. We are influencing people at the highest levels now, chat. We're influencing physicists. We're influencing other very important people that are out there. We are setting narratives. We are making a difference. And here's Sabine Hassenfelder's new book. Yeah, she's going to be the ZPE queen. She doesn't know it yet. She doesn't know it. She hasn't accepted her fate. She hasn't accepted her destiny. But one day she will, chat. So here it is. Sabine Hassenfelder explaining warp drives, chat. Explaining warp drives. Here we go.
Einstein's theory of general relativity itself that allows certain types of travel faster than light. For one thing, it allows wormholes as shortcuts. You don't actually travel faster than light through the wormhole. However, you'll be faster than light that didn't go through the wormhole. Warp metrics exploit another peculiar feature of general relativity, which is that while you can't move in space-time faster than light, space-time itself can move faster than light. Physicists believe that this actually happened in the early universe, that space expanded faster than light. So mathematically, you can make warp drives work. So far, however, we don't know how to create and maintain either wormholes or warp metrics, as these seem to require negative energy, which for the time being is all being used up on Twitter.
All the negative energy is being used up on Twitter. Wow. Wow, man, Lulu hit my camera here, guys. Trying to reestablish. All the negative energy is being used up on Twitter, but there it is. So for anybody out there, here's your first science lesson of the night. General relativity is what proves warp drives and wormholes are real. General relativity is what proves it to be real. Einstein was right about general relativity. He's the one that predicted gravitational waves. A gravitational wave must have a medium by which it's moving through. So we can think of space-time as a medium. We can think of space-time as a medium, and the gravitational waves are the ripples in that medium. And if there are ripples in that medium, we can use those ripples as propulsion. How? How do we do it? We squeeze the vacuum. And the most simple explanation is we produce a very condensed, large amount of energy, electromagnetic energy, in a region of space-time. Produce a large amount of electromagnetic energy in a region, condensed region of space-time. Now, how do we do that? So positive energy. We use positive energy to pull it off. Two ways. One, laser beams. Laser beams. So we use a very short condensed pulse of energy. Petawatt laser, attosecond lasers. Attosecond lasers are probably the bee's knees, which won the Nobel Prize just a few years ago. Attosecond lasers. So we use attosecond lasers are one way to produce a gravitational ripple. You would pulse it so that you would cause the amount of energy to go up and then down again. And this was going to produce your gravitational wave. So you pulse this energy and you use that. Yeah, femtosecond. Thank you. Femtosecond and attosecond lasers are the ones that we were looking for. And we can use that to make a wave that we're just going to ride on that wave. I'm going to ride that wave. So that would be our warp drive, warp metric. The other way we do it, to make our wormhole. So we're taking the 0 point energy and we're interacting with the 0 point energy. The other way to do it, if we need to go like this, we need a wormhole. We need to really bend space-time. Then we need a huge amount of electromagnetic energy, a very big amount of electromagnetic energy. And in order to do that, we need a nuclear bomb. We need a thermonuclear bomb to pull that energy off. And a normal thermonuclear energy bomb won't be good enough. Why? Because a lot of the energy gets released in the form of heat from the neutrons. The neutrons are releasing energy in the form of heat. So instead, we want an aneutronic thermonuclear bomb. Because an aneutronic thermonuclear bomb says, no, we're not going to release the energy in the form of heat. We're going to release the energy in the form of electricity. Pure electricity. In fact, it's about 3 times more efficient. I mean, depends exactly how much more efficient, but comparing just standard like neutronic fusion to aneutronic fusion, it's generally about 3 times more efficient. So significantly more efficient. Now, if we have this huge amount of energy in this region of space-time, what we do to our waves. Imagine that we are in this calm ocean, very calm ocean, but it's got a little bit of waves in it. And we take this huge amount of energy. It causes the waves to go like this. All of a sudden, the waves get huge. They get squeezed together. And when you squeeze your waves, all of a sudden their amplitude goes way up and way down. This is how we increase the amount of negative energy that we need. The negative energy isn't this exotic substance. It's us disturbing the medium. It's us disturbing the medium. And when we disturb the medium, we squeeze it together and we increase this amplitude of these 0-point fluctuations. That's the negative energy that we're looking for. So we get the negative energy by using positive energy in our space-time to squeeze our space-time. Booyah. Ooh. Okay. Okay, Lulu, you're going to be good. Next thing here. On the same vein, Ash and Forbes always write about everything, chat. Always write about everything. If you are a hater, get out. If you're a hater, go somewhere else. Good luck finding another 0-point energy influencer. Good luck learning physics from someone else. Maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson is more your speed. If you are, not down with what I'm selling here. Vindicated again. Always right about everything. Here we go. Looks like we got another one, chat. So we have just been on a roll recently. We had macroscopic quantum tunneling, just won the Nobel Prize. Right again. And now, here you go. I'm just going to read this. Just observed. Here we go. Scientists create matter from pure light, proving Einstein's 120-year-old theory, E equals mc squared, right in the lab. For the first time, researchers used ultra-powerful lasers, chat, attosecond lasers, use ultra-powerful lasers to smash photon particles of light together, triggering a reaction that produced actual particles of matter and antimatter, electrons and positrons. This is right up our alley. This is pretty much what we've been talking about for 2 years straight right here. This is known as the Brett Wheeler. This is definitely John Archibald Wheeler, by the way. The Brett Wheeler process, a phenomenon first predicted back in 1934, but never observed in the lab until now. Now, why is this so huge, chat? Yes, Yahtzee's in the chat, everybody. Why? Because this shows the equivalence principle is correct. Energy is matter. Energy is mass. And so instead, we know that mass can manipulate space-time. But now this proves that pure energy can also manipulate space-time because matter, E equals mc squared. Energy equals matter times the speed of light squared. So this means we can actually use condensed energy to manipulate space-time. That's one angle to it. That's what this says in this post that I made. So go ahead and like this post, share this post if you like it. But also, it also shows that we can produce matter from light. We can make atoms. We can actually just make atoms from pure energy. We can make matter from pure energy. God damn it. Chat, I gotta play another video here. Lulu just had an accident. I gotta clean up right now. Let me see what we got here. Okay, so I'm gonna play this video, Woodward, while I do this cleanup because I was gonna throw up. Here we go.
Sorry, I gotta go. But you said something in your talk that intrigued me, and I just want to be clear that I heard it right. I thought I heard you say that in the present time, that matter creates patterns or effects in space-time continuum, going forwards and backwards. Did I hear that right?
If you accelerate matter, it produces a, quotes, kink in the gravitational field, and since space-time is the gravitational field, you're producing a kink when you accelerate. When you do this, you're producing a little kink in space-time that goes propagating out at the speed of light, and it interacts with the stuff out there, which wiggles and sends little wavelets back
So
here.
we're constantly affecting the past continuum and the present? No.
That's why you need to read John Kramer's book.
Okay.
Because when you wiggle something here and the kinks go out to the future, and the stuff out there wiggles and sends the kinks back to the past, all of those things coming back to the past get to you right at the instant when you do this, and they cancel out all the waves that otherwise would go into the past.
Okay, so that's a canceling effect. And then the general question I had is that, you know, we all know that the Manhattan Project and things like that were...
Okay. We're back. Don't worry. Situation's fixed. Whew. So, that video was James Woodward, and he's talking about how mass can impact space-time. And then he's taking us to the next level. The idea of how does quantum entanglement work has been explained by John Kramer. The transactional exchange, TI, what is it called? TIQM. But basically the idea is that you have a forward moving wave in time, and you have a backward reversed retarded wave. Don't cancel me, chat. That's what they call it. So the idea is that how our reality gets perceived is that there is this handshake that occurs between the future and the present. And this handshake occurs, and what this would mean is that from a time travel perspective, from a faster than light travel perspective, if we're to manipulate this 0-point energy, how would this actually work? This would work in the sense that we could travel instantaneously, but you're not going to be able to have retrocausality. You're not going to be able to change the past. That's what it would mean. So it would mean that we could control the Mars rover from Earth in real time, but we could never change history. History wouldn't be able to be changed. And so that's personally where my belief is right now, because I think that John Kramer, who was actually referenced in that video I just showed you there, I think that he's figured it out. I think that he's privy to inside information about tests and experiments that the public doesn't know about. But again, this doesn't mean, just because we can't change the past, doesn't mean you can't go back in time. You still could go back in time, but it would be different. It would be like taking a local region of space-time and reversing its entropy. Reversing its entropy, meaning you could theoretically reverse the aging process, for example. Might be something that you could actually pull off, like practically make happen. So just because there are limitations to time travel and space-time travel doesn't mean that it's not magical. It's also still pretty damn magical, because we could actually do instant transmission. Instant transmission from here on Earth to over here on Mars, and transmit back and be back in time for dinner. Now, you're not going to transmit back and then you're going to go to the past. You're going to transmit back and you're just going to be back on Earth slightly later than when you left. And the reason why this is interesting is that I speculated this even before we dug into it. I kind of did a thought experiment. If you go back like probably a year and a half ago, I talked about time travel. And I talked about how I didn't see where there would be issues with retrocausality if you just assume that instant transmission is the case. Hopefully my stream is still going well, guys. I don't know. Sometimes it just acts weird. I think my internet's fine, though. I'm looking around. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So this then feeds into another concept, which is graphene. We were right again, chat. I don't know how many times we've been right in the last couple of weeks, but graphene has broken all the rules. Graphene is breaking the laws of physics. Now, I'm going to pull up a video, see if I can find it here, from the Unlab. Now, this was Charles Chase, was the Unlab. How's he only got 850 followers? This is just the craziest thing. First, let me explain it. Graphene has an extremely high electron velocity drift rate. So that means that the electrons are moving very, very fast. Now, general relativity shows us that things like the Doppler effect become real, meaning that if two objects are moving in different directions at really fast speeds, then you have this wavelength shift between them. Either the waves get stretched or the waves get compressed. If they're coming together, then the waves are getting compressed. If they're getting pulled apart, the waves get stretched out. What this means then is that we can abuse the relativistic effect. Like as if we were on the electron flying away on the graphene. Whee! What would the other electron look like? What would the other electron look like? And the weird part is what this comes to, or what is theoretically possible, is that you can break the laws of thermodynamics. Now, everybody understands that if I have a hot region over here and a cold region over here, the hot region will always flow to the cold region. It'll always flow to the cold region. That's what we were taught. That's the second law of thermodynamics, Chad. Second law of thermodynamics says the hot region will always flow to the cold region. But when you start playing around with general relativity, you can now make it so that from the perspective of the electron moving around, the electron sees the hot region as colder than its current region. So what does this mean? This means that cold can begin to flow to hot from a third party's perspective. From our perspective, looking at it, cold can flow to hot. So we can basically reverse the laws of physics, reverse entropy itself. And the way that we do it is simply via extreme speed of the electrons. And this is what was shown to be happening in graphene. Graphene was seemingly breaking the laws of physics. Now, we know this because we watched the Unlab videos from Charles Chase, where he did his presentations, or he had a bunch of people come and do presentations. And one of them was specifically about this phenomenon. So here are the videos. If you guys are not familiar, this is the Unlab. And they're all still up there. They're all still up there. And by the way, the reason why these have so many views is literally from me promoting them. The one that I'm curious about, I wonder which one it is. I think, is it the Raymond Chow one? Which is the one where it's going cold to hot? I'm just trying to look and see if I can remember. If I can't remember, that's fine. I didn't have time. This one, maybe? I think it's this one.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you. I believe the results are still interesting and worth a semiconductor with by an electron to get extracted. A metal and from the sum of the two forces.
Yeah, this is it. This is the one, I think.
The text electron equal to zero temperature. The higher is the temperature. I have used the.
Just trying to skip ahead here.
The okay, here you may see some
charge. So all I'm saying is that I think if those elements can be brought into this, namely the electric field, the
I thought this was it.
Germano, that's good. Okay, so you have a horseshoe here, which looks very much like upside down. This work, and we'll sort it out.
Okay, well, I can't remember exactly where it is there, but I'm pretty sure either that video or one of the other ones is the one where he explains it. Now, there's also Paul Thibodeau here, and Paul Thibodeau is also basically explaining the same thing. If you guys have not checked this out, highly recommend checking out Paul Thibodeau's graphene battery, basically, capacitor, that essentially is an unlimited energy capacitor. Because he talks about the Brownian motion and kind of explains how it's possible that we can get infinite energy from this graphene. And essentially, it's equivalent to asking, how do we harvest energy from a waterfall? We can harvest energy from a waterfall because a waterfall is an asymmetric system. So in this asymmetric system, if we produce this asymmetry, then we can produce unlimited energy from it. And so The reason why I bring this up is because of the next topic. So not just over the weekend, but let's just say over the weekend, I've had a new shift of perspective on things. I've thought about what is the path forward for MH370X? How are we going to change the world? How are we going to change the world? Given that we're not going to be able to convince people that the MH370 videos are real, the MH370 videos are classified, they're being covered up by the United States government. There's no way they're going to admit to a black project. So what is the most practical way that we can change the world? We're going to go all in on aneutronic fusion. We're going all in on aneutronic fusion. And I'm going to explain why. Number one, nobody has any idea what aneutronic fusion is. Nobody knows what aneutronic fusion is, chat. No one knows what it is. So I guess we have to explain what it is and why it's so important. Because I feel like once you explain what it is, then it becomes pretty obvious why it's significant. Everybody looks at fusion and we say fusion is going to be the green energy for the world. But do people understand why? The most simple answer for why is that fusion energy is what we all imagined nuclear energy was when we were growing up. When I ask people, how are we going to power all these data centers that are out there, all these data centers that we're building mostly for AI and what have you, these power requirements are going through the roof. How are we going to power them all? You know how people generally respond if you ask somebody off the street or what have you? They say nuclear power. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean we're going to bring back the nuclear power plants that we shut down, that were just like boiling water to produce steam? Is that what we're going to do? That doesn't seem like a very smart move, and it certainly doesn't seem like it's going to give us the energy levels we need. We need new breakthrough energy. In fact, people say nuclear. I don't even know if they know what they're talking about. Nuclear power generally just refers to like an atom. And generally we're either fusing the atoms or splitting the atoms. But it's people's minds think that like, oh, we're doing this thing with the atoms and then electricity is coming out of it and then we're just absorbing that electricity. But that's not what nuclear power has been. That's what aneutronic fusion is. So the reason why we're going all in on aneutronic fusion is because number one, nobody knows what it is. Number two, it is the thing that everybody thinks in their mind nuclear power is. The thing that everyone thinks nuclear power is aneutronic fusion. Aneutronic fusion is direct energy conversion. You are essentially pulling electricity straight out of the system. Fusion is a 0-point energy tap. Fusion is a 0-point energy tap. And so people say, I'm a 0-point energy influencer. The question is, how do we pull the 0-point energy out? We have the 0-point energy down here. We know it's vibrating a little bit. We know we can squeeze it. But how do we tap into it? How do we get that energy out of there? Fusion is the answer. And the most efficient form of fusion is aneutronic fusion because it's doing direct energy conversion. So if we think about it, we go, okay, now we know that fusion is the answer. Fusion is where we're going to get all this electricity that we need. But the other reason is, the other thing about aneutronic fusion is it has the highest cap. It has the highest cap. We might be able to get unlimited, infinite energy out of aneutronic fusion. Unlimited. Now, another benefit, there's multiple benefits. The other huge benefit is that aneutronic fusion doesn't require ignition. Whoa, stop the presses. Pause, chat. Pause. Aneutronic fusion does not require ignition to pull off. What does that mean? Basically, everyone who's doing hot fusion, what they're trying to achieve is ignition. They're trying to make a sun. They make this sun, and then the sun persists forever. It actually produces its own fusion, the sun, and they just stabilize the sun, and it just sits there, and it keeps fusing forever, doing fusion forever. That's what they're trying to do from the hot fusion perspective. That's a major hurdle. I think it is possible, but I think it's very possible that that's not going to be practical ever. And if it is practical, it might not be practical for another 25 years, maybe even longer than that, maybe never. What we learned from David Kirkley and helium fusion is that they can get the temperature requirement, has this huge temperature requirement for ignition. If we don't go for ignition, that temperature requirement can go down by 10 times, or more. So aneutronic fusion has all of these benefits. We don't need ignition. We can still achieve over unity, meaning more energy out than energy in. More energy out than energy in without ignition. And we have the highest ceiling as well, the highest cap. Because if we do get to ignition with aneutronic fusion, we have an unlimited energy source forever. An unlimited energy source forever. The other thing that I couldn't stop thinking about related to this aneutronic fusion is that the MH370 videos hold the key. The letter to Ashton Forbes. In the letter to Ashton Forbes, I think this is it right here.
A submission sent to us the 8th of January of
creative started environments where a position, conductivity, based on the structure that is used for what you are looking at is a metastructure that creates a low complexity and relative low energy phase transition. The beauty of this technology lies in its elegance and simplicity. The structures are inherently stable and self-regulating, and the earlier challenges to conduct operations were 100% based on the limits of man. With the same technology, just a slightly altered monostructure gives us an infinite power generator that without maintenance can run forever.
Wow, I found that right away. With just a simple change to the structure of the plasma orbs in the MH370 videos, we get an infinite power generator that can run forever. That's why we're all in on aneutronic fusion. That's the reason why we're all in on it. Because what the letter is essentially saying, the letter is saying that those same plasma balls that we see them using this thermonuclear weapon on MH370, if we reconfigure that, we can use that to be a perfect, unlimited, sustained energy source. It's basically taking helium fusion's technology, what they're already trying to do, to its optimal level, to the point where we just got energy flowing out of this plasma ball. Plasma ball is just chilling, stabilized. Maybe it's spinning around a little bit, and we're just sucking energy out of it. We're just using it as a direct tap into the 0 point energy. So this is what I say when I say that the ceiling is essentially there's no height to this ceiling. There's no limit to the ceiling of aneutronic fusion. Because eventually aneutronic fusion will get to the point where we have unlimited energy coming out of it. Right now, what they're doing is they're just pulsing plasmoids together. They're spinning around. This is producing electricity, and then they recuperate as much of the energy out of it as they can to achieve over unity. That's not the end game. That's just where we're starting at. This is why we need to jump on the aneutronic fusion bandwagon right now. Right now. It's not that helium fusion has the final goal figured out, but we know they will figure it out eventually. Why? Because we've seen it. We've seen it with our own eyes. We've seen the plasma balls. We've seen how they work. And we know that aneutronic fusion, what they're doing with field reverse configurations, that is plasmoid research. We know the history of it. We learned the history of it in these science streams. We learned it. It goes back to William Bostick in 1958. researching plasmoids. And then Ken Wheeler in the 80s with Hal Puthoff, was researching plasmoids, exotic vacuum objects. They were overcoming the Coulomb barrier. They knew they were because the electrons were clustering together. This technology got the second highest and third highest priorities by the Pentagon in the 90s. This is in Lynn McTaggart's book. In her book, it says Hal Puthoff and Ken Shoulders, what do they call it? EV research. Condensed charge research. It got the second and third highest priorities for research in the early 90s. And then they had the Marauder project. The Marauder project was accelerating plasmoids towards the speed of light. So we have the whole history of it. And then in the 90s, they started they changed the name to field reverse configuration. Plasmoids became field reverse configuration. And they started using them to research for propulsion technologies. NASA, John Slow, one of the co-founders of helium fusion, was researching plasmoid thruster technology with Richard Eskridge of NASA. Can't make this stuff up, chat. So we found the secret. It's not that helium fusion has the Rosetta Stone. They don't have the Holy Grail yet. They don't have the Holy Grail just yet, but they have the means to achieve it. So, guys, I can't do anything about the bit rate, by the way. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm probably getting spammed. Oh, yeah, it looks like something's wrong with my Wi-Fi connection or something. Let me see what's going on here. Give me one sec, guys. Oh, am I not connected? What am I connected to? Hold on. I think it's because I'm not connected to my right Wi-Fi. Oh, yeah, that was why. Wow. I was on the wrong Wi-Fi connection somehow or something. I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully that'll fix it, guys. I think I just switched. I think I just fixed it. Let me see. Yeah, okay. Should clean up here. Apologies, guys. Now, so here's the thing. Aneutronic fusion, highest capacity, highest ceiling, no radiation. It's green energy. It's green energy, guys. So aneutronic fusion is green energy. It doesn't release radiation because we're in direct energy conversion. No neutrons are being released. And it's the most efficient. It's the most efficient form of energy because it's direct energy conversion. Direct energy conversion. What's going on here? Why is my network all messed up? Okay. I don't know. Now, what are we going to do this for? What's the practical means of pushing this forward? Well, number one, we had the data centers. So we can promote aneutronic fusion because data centers are going to need this energy source. So we can tell people that this is the mechanism by which we can achieve this energy that we need. Aneutronic fusion has the most room for growth. The other thing that we want to be doing is we want to push the United States government to increase the subsidies for aneutronic fusion. Fusion specifically, but aneutronic fusion even more specifically. Like, we need the United States government needs to be investing in fusion research. And before anybody asks me, I already know they have like $150 million grant or something like that. We need to be talking in the billions with a B. The United States government United States in general needs to be the world's leading fusion industry. We need to beat China there. We need to beat Saudi Arabia. We need to beat everyone to the punch. And the only way that we're going to do this is if we start investing in a major way. This is what happened in 1989. Pons and Fleischmann went to Congress and they said, we need to be funding cold fusion. We need to redo that. We need to come back and say, hey, we need billions of dollars, but we don't want it in cold fusion. No. And we don't want it in hot fusion. We want it in cool fusion. We need our technology to be the best, and it needs to be in cool fusion, also known as aneutronic fusion. We need to lead that industry. We need to beat China to the punch. We need to become the world's leading industry leaders, and we need to build a comparative advantage. If you're not familiar with economics, a comparative advantage means that we can produce energy better than anybody else can produce it, to a point where they don't even want to compete with us because they're better doing something else. China can go make our shoes. We'll be the ones to make the aneutronic energy that we will then distribute all over the world, because we're going to have unlimited, infinite energy. Now, the other thing is that why not magnetic motors? Why not free energy microchips? Some people might ask. Yes, those things are real. Magnetic motors are real. Free energy microchips are real. The problem is scalability. We can't scale those things. Free energy microchips are great for a cell phone. They're great for a cell phone. If you need to be powering industry, if you need to be powering whole cities, we're not going to do that off of little Casimir effect microchips. There's just not enough energy coming off of them. We need something more powerful than that. Magnetic motors, they're cool, but they have moving parts. They're bulky. They're huge. We don't want to have a whole bunch of giant magnetic motors running our cities. It's stupid. It's archaic. It's antique. It's too retro. So what's the answer? Fusion. Fusion is the answer. Fusion is the tap directly into the 0-point energy where we're not rate limited anymore. And we can scale it up. Remember, we were just watching on Friday the helium energy video where they were talking about their decentralized approach, their modular approach, where they can then just add units. They can scale up their reactors. They can scale up their energy systems. That's what we want. We need something like that, where we can say, okay, we can modularly add to it. We can iteratively improve it on the go. So aneutronic fusion is exactly what we want to be aiming for. So now my main focus, I'm still a 0-point energy influencer. I'm still talking about free energy microchips and all the other cool stuff. But our main focus should be on A, helping to improve fusion research, specifically aneutronic fusion research, pushing people towards aneutronic fusion. In fact, we might be able to influence like Commonwealth Fusion. We might be able to influence $1 billion company to switch over to aneutronic fusion. Can you imagine if we have that level of influence? So this is why I'm apologizing to Joe Lonsdale. Joe Lonsdale is heavily invested in Commonwealth Fusion. I looked into their stuff, and I don't think they're doing aneutronic fusion. So if we could get them to switch to aneutronic fusion, boom. If we can get the government to start investing billions of dollars in fusion, then we can have fusion in the next 5 to 10 years. Commercial fusion that's obsoleting all other forms of energy production. It'll happen so fast that I would equate it to how AI has basically taken over. 10 years ago, if you asked people about AI, they would have said, no, that's science fiction stuff. Now, AI is 40% of GDP. 40% of GDP. I just read an article this weekend. 40%. That's how fast fusion will take over the entire energy industry if we invest in it now. So we should be, if you're out there, if you want to make a change, tell your congressmen, tell your senators, tell the politicos, tell the influencers, aneutronic fusion. Subsidize it. Give grants for it. Do whatever we got to do to drive energy research towards aneutronic fusion. Helium-3, boron-11, and even lithium. I saw that there was a company. Sabine did her video on fusion, and it looks like there's a European company that is doing fusion in a bath of lithium. Please don't blow up the world. Please don't blow up the world. I like living here. Please don't destroy it. Okay, let me just see. Did I hit all my things? Now, the challenges. The challenges of fusion, specifically aneutronic fusion, is the reaction rate. The reaction rate. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is how often are we able to force the ions to fuse? We have the solution for that, though, too, don't we, chat? Don't we have the solution for that? All of the hot fusion people think that the answer is increase the temperature. Increase the temperature, and your reactions, your fusions, your cross-section of fusions, your reaction rates will go up. That's what they think. There's this Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution, right? So they think, okay, increase the temperature. But what did we learn? What did we learn last week about how to increase the reaction rates? Resonance. Use resonance instead. Vibration and resonance, and we can overcome the Coulomb barrier, and we can achieve extremely high rates of cross reactivity. Extremely high rates of fusion can occur if we hit the right resonant frequencies. That's our answer. So we take our aneutronic cold fusion, our pulsed plasma research, we work on advancing it towards the point where we can get ignition, but we're not worried about ignition. We use resonance to increase our reaction rates to cause the rate of fusion to go up. And then we try to also extract as much energy as we can from the system. Recover it, recuperate that same energy as much as we can from our system. That's going to be our goal. That's what we're going to try to achieve. And then we can also, here's some other more improvements. By the way, Ashton Forbes Consulting Services, they're out there. If you are a fusion company, if you are a Politico that wants an advisor, if you want to hire an advisor to help you understand the science, to help you understand the technology, I consider myself an expert on fusion, quantum mechanics, electrical engineering, and thermonuclear weapons. Hit me up in the DMs, send me an email, get in touch with the right people. I'm happy to advise because I want to push this forward faster. I'm going to give the advice away for free, though, at the same time. But if you want independent consulting on this, I am a consultant by trade. Now, here's what else we can do. Here's some other just freebies. I'm just throwing these out there. This is a freebie for you, Joe Lonsdale. For you, David Kirkley, out there, freebies for you. Supercapacitors. Change the battery system to be supercapacitors. Why? Supercapacitors can charge up super fast. They can discharge super fast as well. And they have a large amount of storage capacity. Boom. Number one, supercapacitors or ultracapacitors. Have the entire energy grid that you're storing that energy on utilizing supercapacitors and ultracapacitors. Number two, superconductivity. Specifically, room temperature superconductivity. If all of our wiring of our entire system is superconductive, then we're not losing energy to heat. So a big part of the problem is we might lose 20% of the energy of the electricity from heat in the wires or from heat in the batteries that we're storing the energy in. If we make our entire system superconductive at room temperature, then we also don't need to cool the wiring either. We don't need to have these low temperatures. We don't need to have it be in the Arctic or in Norway. We don't need to have any of that stuff. So instead, if we can achieve room temperature superconductive wiring, now we get perfect efficiency in the transfer of our electricity, plus over distance. Plus, it can be transfer over a far distance as well. And what did we learn? Salvatore Pais told us how we can do this. He said, have an insulating core in your wire, have it covered in a very thin, like aluminum or metal coating, and then vibrate it. Vibrate it at a certain frequency and then pulse a current through it to force the electrons to move. And then what this does, as these things are vibrating, they kind of get lost, like lost in the shuffle. What's where? And what this induces is high temperature, possibly room temperature, superconductivity. That's the future. So let's just bring it all together here. Bring it all together. Aneutronic fusion, highest cap. We can get to a point where our coefficient of performance, let's say our coefficient of performance starts off at like 2, 3, 4. That's how much energy we're getting out compared to how much energy we're putting in. These are numbers that David Kirkley has mentioned. We can get our coefficient of performance with aneutronic fusion potentially up to 1,000, 2,000. So you think about where we're at right now with how high we can possibly get to with aneutronic fusion, unparalleled. Then we want to force, or we want to promote the government to invest and to subsidize this research. We want to improve it beyond where it's at right now. Improve it beyond where it's at. Supercapacitors, ultracapacitors, using AI to manage the plasma and AI to distribute the energy between the batteries and then out to the grid. AI can manage all of those things. And then having superconductive, room temperature, superconductive wiring in everything, the whole shebang. If we do this, we will achieve the goal of unlimited energy for the world. That's how we will change this planet, chat. That's how we will change this planet. Unlimited energy for the world forever. Once we have access to unlimited electricity, we can do anything we want. We can reverse the aging process. We can become a type 3, type 4 civilization. We can travel amongst the stars. We can have teleporters. We can have portals. We can do literally anything. Aneutronic fusion is the linchpin for all of it, because energy production is what we need to achieve everything in Star Trek. It's the base of everything. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the quantum age. Welcome to the age of fusion. You are in it, and we are going to lead the charge, everybody. We are going to lead that charge. Just like John F. Kennedy said, he said, why do we do this? We don't do this. We don't do this because it's easy. We do it because it's hard. Because that goal, that challenge will serve to organize the best and the brightest of all of us to give us a purpose on this planet, which is to change this world forever. That's why we're doing it. Thank you, guys. Okay, last thing for tonight, guys, is superconductivity. Actually, there's two more quick things. One is people on the Twitch chat. People in the Twitch chat are advertising bots. Cheap viewers. Look at this. People wonder, all your favorite Twitch chat people are botting, by the way, guys. One of the things I saw a really good question. I think it was Aiden that brought this up, that said, why do neutrons have 3 quarks? Why do neutrons and positrons have 3 quarks? Have we ever thought about this? So it turns out neutrons and positrons have 3 quarks in them. And when you add them up, they become color neutral. So that combined, there's no color to them. That's how so to me, yes, as somebody just said, it's stability. You imagine there's 3 balls, 3 orbs, let's say, in your neutron or in your positron. They must be in a stable configuration. And I went, if the universe is scale invariant, then maybe there's a connection to 3 orbs I'm seeing spin around the plane. Now, what does this say right here? It says the up quark has a charge of plus 2/3, and the down quarks have a charge of minus 1/3. So if you add up all the charges, 2 of them are minus 1/3 and one of them is positive 2/3. The total net charge is 0. That's very interesting. So what if the MH370 videos, what if they're doing something similar to this? This made me think about another unlab video. Where Charles Chase, there was, I think it was the Japanese guy. I forget his name. Torichiro or something like that. He was saying that how does one body, one spinning orb, how does it impact the other two? And how do they get stuck into an equilibrium formation? This makes me think that if we were to study, if we could see the orbs in the MH370 videos, like up close, in frame the whole time, I'm guessing that we would see that the heat signature in each orb, I'll pull it up here in a second. The heat signature in each orb, I think we would find that they're in a configuration just like this. I've mentioned this idea of this configurations before. But you see how they're like kind of aligned here? Like, maybe we can figure it out. Hold on. Maybe they can see it. I'm trying to figure out if like two of these are angled one way while the other one's angled a different direction. Or are they all angled exact same direction? I think that the heat signatures, the alignment of the heat signatures in the orbs could be analogous to the quarks in the neutrons or the quarks in the positrons. It's just a working theory. I don't know if it's true or not. And I don't think we have enough information because there's not enough frames where you can see all three orbs together. But my guess is they're working in some kind of alignment to keep themselves in an equilibrium position. And then that alignment may change when they're beginning the macroscopic quantum tunneling in order to allow for this wormhole, this manipulation of space-time as we see in that video right there. The other thing I want to point out is that the orbs are also spinning around. They're spinning around. Why are they spinning around? Let's go back real quick to electricity. What is electricity? Electricity is just a separation of positive and minus charge. Separation of positive and minus charge will allow current to flow. Simple as that. Separate positive and minus charge. Now, what is a plasma? Plasma is where you separate the minus charge, the electron, from your atom, and now you have a positively charged ion and a negatively charged electron. That's plasma. So you could argue that plasma itself is actually just like electricity. Plasma itself is just like electricity. Separate your positive and minus, boom. Now, the problem is the positive and minus want to come back together again. The positive and minus want to come back together again. So we have to keep them separated. We have to keep our electrons separated from our ions. So how do we accomplish this? How do we keep them separated? One way that we've learned is by spin, centrifugal motion, centrifugal force. If we have our object spinning, then the electron is getting pulled away from the ion through centrifugal motion. So this makes me wonder, what if the spin of the plasma has a specific purpose? What if we can actually use vibration or spin to keep our electrons and our ions separated in a non-equilibrium plasma? So that's my theory on why are the orbs also in alignment and moving, but also why are they spinning themselves? Why are they spinning themselves? I think they're spinning themselves because they're keeping themselves in a non-equilibrium. They're making it so that they don't come back together. Now, there could also be something going on inside the orbs that causes this to happen, because those orbs are definitely non-equilibrium plasma. And the question is, what's causing it? So that's my theory on that, is that you have this rotation happening that is keeping the electrons separated from the ions, that's allowing these balls of plasma to be an unlimited energy source. Unlimited energy source. So, okay. Last thought for tonight, guys, and we're going to close it up here early. Lowering the Schwinger limit. Lowering the Schwinger limit, chat. Where did I put it? Oh, I think I fed it to Grok, actually. Let me take a quick look here. Here you go. So, ways to lower the Schwinger limit. You ready for this? I'll share it with you guys so you can watch and see for yourself. I think that if you feed Grok or any AI my tweets and have it cross-reference scientific public papers, we're actually getting very close to the point now where AI can solve physics. Because the stuff that I've been pushing out there is really the real physics, because we know it from the MH370 videos. And then when you use it in cross-reference real scientific papers, I'm finding more and more stuff out there that is confirming essentially what we've already figured out. So take a look at this. Take a look at this. Regarding ways to reduce the Schwinger limit, theoretical proposals include using superconductors to enhance field coherence and lower the effective threshold by mitigating the Unruh effect, thermal radiation as perceived by accelerated observers. Now, this is just like cold going to hot. This is just like cold going to hot, what I mentioned with graphene. Very similar idea right there. Potentially dropping it by orders of magnitude in controlled setups. And then here you go. Check this out. There's a link here talking about lowering the Schwinger limit with superconductors while considering the Unruh effect. And it said, I've been looking into different mechanisms, and you can't see this right now, but this is just the hyperlink that I clicked on there. I've been looking at the different mechanisms for easily obtaining the Schwinger limit. So far, the only thing I've come across is this paper, which describes how superconductors may be used to lower the limit from 10 to the 18 all the way down to 10 to the 8. From 10 to the 18 all the way down to 10 to the 8, chat. I think this is exactly what Salvatore Pais was talking about. This was exactly what Salvatore Pais was talking about to me when he said, how do we reduce this Schwinger limit? How come I don't see it here? One sec. Oh, I see. This is why. Okay. One sec. Okay, here we go. Here it is. However, this paper doesn't address the Unruh effect at all, so I'm not sure if it's taken into account would raise or lower the limit. So I saw this paper, and here's the link to the paper. The Sauter-Schwinger effect in BCS superconductors. So here you go. This scientific paper, supposedly, I haven't read through it yet. I downloaded it. I just haven't had time. This paper supposedly supports what Salvatore Pais was saying about how we can lower the Schwinger effect using superconductors. Now, this is huge. This is absolutely huge. Why is this so big? Because everybody says the energy, we can make a wormhole, but the energy levels required are just so massive. This lowers it by 10 factors. 10 factors. Not by 10, but by 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times over. This reduces the energy levels significantly in a huge, huge way. Now brings it down to levels where are absolutely obtainable by thermonuclear weapons, by attosecond lasers. Boom. There we go. So going back to this. So I saw that and I went, wow, okay. In curved space-time, such as near strong gravitational fields or in de Sitter backgrounds, the limit can be altered due to interactions with the background curvature, where magnetic fields amplify pair production or reduce the energy barrier via mutual assistance with effects like the dynamic Casimir effect. OMG, yes, chat. The dynamic Casimir effect was the answer the whole time. Why? The dynamic Casimir effect takes the plates in the Casimir effect, right? The Casimir effect plates push out the 0-point energy that can't fit between them. And what do they do in the dynamic Casimir effect? They do this. Are you ready? This is what they do in the dynamic Casimir effect. They just do this. And what does this do, chat, when you're doing this? When the plates are moving apart at high rates of speed, it's just like the graphene situation that I told earlier. Cold to hot. It's just like the Doppler effect. They're causing relativistic effects when the plates are being pulled apart. They're moving in opposite directions at high speed, and then they come back together at high speed. This is why you oscillate the plates super fast at the right frequency, and now you can break the laws of physics. This is why the dynamic Casimir effect is listed right here. Dynamic Casimir effect is the key. Chat, we're so far ahead of the game at this point. We're giving freebies out to our adversaries. We're so far ahead that we're just giving free layups, free 3-pointers to our adversaries. Here you go, China. Here you go, North Korea. Here you go, Iran. You want to make some super weapons? I'm giving you the recipe for free out here. Nobody's going to stop me then. I'm going to keep going. Dimension-reduced models may underestimate the actual threshold, so suggesting that full 3D or relativistic treatments reveal lower effective limits in practice. So, how do we lower the Schwinger limit? Relativistic effects, just like with graphene. Why do we have the graphene move in opposite directions? Relativistic effects. Graphene has high electron velocity, so we're having movement in opposite directions. This is why Charles Chase wanted to talk to Paul Thibodeau. He already knows all this stuff's real. He already knows it's happening because he's the one that built the coherent matter wave beam patent. That's what the coherent matter wave beam patent is probably abusing this effect as well. Relativistic effects. It even says right here, high intensity laser setups could intensify light towards the limit by boosting power through relativistic particle frames or Doppler effects, effectively making pair production more accessible without raw field strength increases. Combining these with aneutronic fusion's electromagnetic output might further facilitate vacuum breakdown at reduced energies by exploiting nonlinear quantum electrodynamics in modified spacetimes. Boom, baby! Let's go, chat. Let's effing go. MH370X, you are the greatest. We can't be stopped. This train has no brakes. Haters, you never had any chance in hell. You're going to get run over. Get out of the way or get run over. Let's go to the super chats. Matt, 1776 in the pill chat. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that in the pill chat. He gives the cookie. Does Israel have the orb tech? Yes, Israel probably has this technology or knows about it. There's no way we're ever going to turn on Israel. They probably helped us make it. Look how many Jewish people helped make it, guys. Anyway, if you want more about the Israel-Palestine, check out Owen Schroeder's tomorrow. We're going to be talking to him about it. I'm probably going to bring this up as well. Thank you very much, Alex, for that $10 super chat. Thank you, Divas, $50 super chat. Thank you very much. War Ranch LLC, playing lawnmower. We're mowing the grass. We're mowing the grass. By the way, for all the haters out there, I was 100% rage baiting you the whole time. I was rage baiting. I was playing with you the whole time. Literally, if you were just in my Discord, you would see we were literally planning on how to troll you the best, including the bear juice situation. Obviously, I knew that would trigger you, and oh boy, did it trigger them. The whole mow the grass thing, I didn't even know what that meant. Somebody in my Discord told me, hey, tell them that you're going to mow the grass. They lost their minds when I said that we successfully mowed the grass when we got them banned. You got rage baited. You're idiots. You're so easy to manipulate. That's just how you are. We won. We won. Ashton Forbes won. Ashton Forbes was right. You lost. Sorry, I destroyed your movement. It's your fault. Zapparoo, treat for Lulu. I'm going to take her out here and give her a treat right now. Thank you very much for that. And then Carrie, Ethernet subscriber. We've already got Ethernet subscribers, chat. We've already got Ethernet subscribers. Please don't electroshock your dog like someone else we know. Never, chat. I would never use a shock collar. Not in a million years. Not even if Lulu has an accident. Look how cute she is. Look how effing cute she is, chat. Rare Lulu sighting on the couch. OMGs. OMGs. Alex says, have you seen Alpha Ring and their microfusion reactor using PB11? No, I have not seen that yet. Anybody using helium-3 or PB11? Take a real good look at it, Chad. That's what we're aiming for. Aneutronic fusion. Helium-3, boron-11, it's proton boron-11, or lithium. It's those three or bust. Nothing else. And then Adjust a Grill, October 13th, 2025. Here you are. Welcome to Disclosure. Let's have a great night, guys. I love you guys. Peace out. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Later.
In the fields where the skies are wide, talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space, traversable paths to a far-off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight, just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuum squeezed so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow. Thin shell formalism plates so fine, spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Forces balancing the plate, creating the throat, open the gates, from Earth to the stars in a single bound, a shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers hold the key to future worlds and what we could be. With science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow. From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night with wormholes and stargates.